The love and hip-hop universe has been plunged into complete anarchy, and the internet is on fire. With the release of a leaked video featuring Rasheeda and Mendeecees, Kirk Frost is furious, and rightfully so. The turmoil is beyond anything we've ever witnessed. Fans are confused about what actually transpired behind the scenes between Rasheeda and Mendeecees, and they are in utter astonishment. As if things couldn't get any uglier, Kirk is making a shocking charge that has everyone talking. He is supposedly wondering if Rasheeda's pregnant child is even his. That's correct. Kirk is allegedly demanding answers since he believes there's more to this scenario than seems. In real time, the industry is rushing to catch up with the betrayal, the secrets, and the anger. But the real question is, how did this tape even end there in the public domain? By whom was it leaked? And are Kirk's startling allegations even true? From the outrageous responses to the insiders revealing secrets, we're dissecting it all. Be prepared, as this controversy is only beginning. Fans are shocked by the developments in the drama involving Kirk Frost, Rasheeda, and Mendeecees Harris, which has just reached a boiling point. Kirk's explosive outbursts are nothing new, but this? There's more to this. Social media is rocked by the footage of Rasheeda and Mendeecees that was leaked, and Kirk's rage is unavoidable. He reportedly didn't even know that such a video existed, thus he was caught off guard. But everything was different the instant he saw it. His marriage, his trust, and his whole world all fell apart in a flash. According to people familiar with the matter, Kirk was at home when he initially learned about the leaked video. Initially, he dismissed it as just another online scam. He was used to hearing rumors about Rasheeda, and he had learned to disregard them. However, when did he see the video? That was another matter entirely. Kirk's blood froze, his hands clenched into fists, and he realized then that this was more than mere conjecture. It was something that could not be disregarded. In a private situation, the video purports to show Rasheeda and Mendeecees laughing, conversing intimately, and acting far too comfortable for Kirk. Although there isn't anything particularly sensational in the video, it is clear that they are intimate. The way they gaze at one another, the murmurs, and the body language alone are enough to raise suspicions. However, things take a more darker turn at this point. Kirk's mind was racing as he watched, recalling earlier disputes, his private nature, and times when Rasheeda appeared aloof. He began to make connections. Could this be the case? Did she never disclose that there was more going on between them? Kirk began to wonder whether Rasheeda's pregnancy had anything to do with Mendeecees, and that was the true stunner. Yes, Kirk is now allegedly persuaded that there is a chance, however remote, that Rasheeda's unborn kid did not belong to him. What about this charge? It is causing a complete flurry on the internet. While some fans believe Kirk is reaching and allowing his fears and past transgressions to influence his decisions, others support him and believe his rage is warranted. Whatever one's stance, one thing is certain: this is a controversy that nobody anticipated. Kirk quickly confronted Rasheeda, according to insiders. He rushed into their bedroom, his voice trembling with a mixture of anger and shock, as soon as he had had time to grasp what he had just witnessed. He allegedly held out his phone with the video playing and said, "What the heck is this, Rasheeda? You think this wouldn't come back to me? You think I wouldn't find out?" Rasheeda was taken by surprise and hardly had time to respond. She was initially perplexed, then defensive. She tried to get his phone to see what was making him so agitated and yelled, "What are you even talking about, Kirk?" Kirk, however, would not have it. With the head shake, he withdrew. "Don't try to fool me. I need answers right now." Kirk was met with additional frustration rather than the truth he sought. Rasheeda said the footage was taken out of context, and she had no idea where it came from. "After everything we've been through, you really think I'd do something like this?" She yelled back, her voice full of rage. Kirk wasn't persuaded, though. His rage was already erupting with every second that went by, and his mind was already racing with the worst-case scenarios. Then the words that made all the difference appeared. "Rasheeda, is that baby even mine? The room went quiet. With her breath seizing in her throat, Rasheeda's eyes widened in disbelief. They both remained silent for a moment, suffocating and unavoidable. The weight of Kirk's accusation hung between them like a heavy fog. Disbelief swept over Rasheeda as she stepped back, her hands shaking. Almost raising her voice above a breath, she muttered, "Are you serious right now?" Kirk wasn't going to back down, though. He snarled, "Answer the damn question," with no more patience. Rasheeda then lost her temper. "How dare you say that at all?" With anger flushing her face, she screamed. With tears in her eyes, she said, "After everything we've been through, after all the times you messed up, you have the nerve to accuse me." Kirk was unmoved. He believed that this was about trust, and at this moment, he had none left for her. It had nothing to do with prior transgressions. The internet was already ablaze in the meanwhile. In order to find out if there was anything more happening between Rasheeda and Mendeecees, fans were analyzing every second of the leaked video and looking for hints. Some argued that the body language was evidence of something more serious, while others maintained that it was a harmless incident exaggerated. But the harm was already done, regardless of their stance. Kirk's skepticism had been sown, and there was no going back. Who leaked the video in the first place was the question that hung over everything as tensions rose. Because someone out there purposefully brought this footage to the public's attention when Kirk was busy confronting Rasheeda, knowing exactly what it would accomplish. Was this a calculated setup? Is this a calculated attempt to ruin Rasheeda and Kirk's relationship from the ground up? Or did this story have a deeper meaning that had not yet been revealed? The truth appeared farther away than ever as Kirk and Rasheeda's tense argument went on. And just when it seems that things couldn't get much worse, a fresh bombshell that would rock their world even further was about to fall. Rasheeda stood motionless, her thoughts racing to make sense of what had just transpired. Like a thunderclap, Kirk's words reverberated in her mind. "Is that child really mine?" She gasped at the accusation's utter stupidity. The focus had shifted from a video to trust, loyalty, and everything they had created together. Although she struggled to control her emotions, the fire in her eyes spoke louder than words could. She spit out, "You've lost your damn mind, Kirk," her voice shaking with anger. "After everything you've done, and all the times you've caused me to doubt our marriage, do you really have the audacity to force this upon me?" Kirk, however, wasn't having it. His rage had already gotten out of control. "Rasheeda, this has nothing to do with the past." His voice was piercing, slicing through the tension like a dagger. "This is about right now. And right now, I just saw a video of you and Mendeecees looking truly comfortable, and I'm supposed to just ignore it." Incredulous, Rasheeda shook her head and scoffed. "Comfortable? That's what that gave you? After watching a little footage that isn't relevant to the situation, you think I'm cheating? My baby isn't even yours." As his annoyance boiled over, Kirk wiped his face. "Rasheeda, don't turn this around on me. You are the one with all of these secrets. It's you who's getting sucked into these messy situations." The dispute was getting out of hand quickly, and neither of them was retreating. Social media was already in a frenzy at the time. While several fans criticized Kirk's charges as rash and repulsive, others noted that the video did appear dubious. The rumors were only growing, and hashtags like #KirkExposed, #RasheedaLoyaltyTest, and #HolyAktit were already trending. However, the altercation between Kirk and Rasheeda was far from ended behind closed doors. Rasheeda's eyes were fixed on Kirk's with a blazing intensity, and her voice had become uncannily quiet. "You know what?" she asked. "My only action has been to support you. And now when I need your belief in me, after all your lying, cheating, and humiliation, you throw this in my face." Kirk's jaw became tense. "Rasheeda, No, Kirk, you can't ignore me again. You have no right to act like a victim when you are the last one to doubt anyone's allegiance." Kirk fell silent, but his eyes remained filled with wrath. He wasn't prepared to give up, and the harm had already been done. Rasheeda could not dispel the doubt in his mind. no matter how strongly he denied it, because he had raised the subject. Then, an additional bombshell was dropped. At the height of their dispute, Kirk's phone buzzed. Another alert, an additional message. He also felt sick to his stomach as he looked at the screen. Another video was leaked. This time too, Mendeecees and Rasheeda shared more than a few naive moments. This one was awful. Clicking on the link made Kirk's whole body stiff. He was breathing irregularly and his hands were shaking. Immediately, Rasheeda saw the shift in his face. As she ran out of patience, she said, "What now?" Kirk didn't respond. He pressed the play button. Even though the second video was only 30 seconds long, it was plenty to put him into a downward spiral. The image depicted Rasheeda and Mendeecees sitting side by side in a dimly lit room, whispering to one another with their heads almost touching. The moment that made Kirk furious was when Mendeecees leaned out and tucked the stray hair behind Rasheeda's ear. The gesture was little, unimportant, and uncomplicated. But that was everything in Kirk's head. He clenched his hand around the phone. "This is what the devil?" With a growl, he turned the screen in Rasheeda's direction. Rasheeda's inscrutable look changed as her gaze shifted to the video. "I'm not sure where this is coming from, Kirk, but you really need to calm down." "Are you serious?" "Calm down." Now Kirk's voice echoed loudly throughout the house. "There are so many more of these vids out there." Rasheeda clenched her nose and let out a quick exhale. "Listen, Kirk, nothing took place. It's not what you think, whatever this is or what people are attempting to say." However, Kirk was not listening to any of it. "You believe that I am blind, Rasheeda? And after seeing this, I'm meant to think this baby is mine. You think I don't see what's happening?" And then the battle broke out once more. At the same time, the internet was exploding. In just a few minutes, the second video went viral, and viewers were analyzing each and every moment. There were others who said it was all a setup, while others said it was evidence that Rasheeda and Mendeecees were involved. Theories were rife. Was this a re-release of an old video? Was Rasheeda's reputation being targeted for destruction? Or did Kirk really have a point? And then, yet another turn. An insider who said they were close to Mendeecees made a statement. And what did they say? It merely made matters worse. According to the unidentified insider, Kirk has every right to be mad. There have been rumors that Rasheeda and Mendeecees are a bit too close in person before. They have long been the target of side-eye for many in the industry. The internet went crazy. The most important question, though, was who leaked the videos. Who caused this mess? Was someone trying to get attention by creating a commotion? Or was there something more profound and intimate at play? One name appeared repeatedly: Yandy. It was speculated by fans that the video may have been leaked by Mendeecees' wife, Yandy Smith. She could, after all, get in. She had a good reason. Furthermore, she had a habit of getting herself into trouble. Even though Kirk and Rasheeda's marriage was about to fall apart, there was still another storm in the making, since things would only become worse if Yandy got involved. Kirk, however, was about to experience yet another shock before he had had time to digest everything, because his phone displayed another message just when he believed he had seen the worst of it. And this one, everything was going to change because of this. As Kirk gazed at his phone's screen, his heart raced. Another alert, an additional message, and it was something far worse this time, not simply a video. He tapped the screen, his hands shaking, and a text message from an unidentified number appeared. "You haven't even heard half of it. Give me a call if you want to know the truth about Rasheeda and Mendeecees. Everything I have to tell you." Kirk's breath stuck in his throat. His mind raced, ideas clashing as paranoia took hold. This person was who? They got his number, but how? And what were they aware of? Anger boiled up inside him, and he gripped the phone tighter. Immediately, Rasheeda saw the shift in his face. "Now, Kirk?" Her voice was tired from the constant barrage of accusations and justifications. With his mouth tightly clenched, Kirk slowly raised his eyes. "I received the message just now," Rasheeda said. "They know more about you and Mendeecees." her face contorted in annoyance. A bit more. Kirk disregarded her and said, "Are you really still putting up?" His fingers debated while hovering over the screen. Is he supposed to call? Would he be able to handle hearing it? Despite his instinct to ignore it, his pride and anger prevented him from doing so. His phone buzzed once more before he had a chance to decide. The note was a voice message this time. He paused a second, but the temptation was too great. He hit play. A voice crackled across the speaker, distorted. "I tried warning you previously, Kirk, but you ignored me." This is more than simply a video. For months, Rasheeda and Mendeecees have been making amusing movements. And that baby! The air in the room became thick with anxiety, and I assure you that you might want to obtain a DNA test. Rasheeda's breath caught as her eyes widened upon hearing the message. "Kirk," he said, his jaw clenched, his expression unreadable. "You better not be believing this." His mind was racing with feelings of anger, uncertainty, and treachery. His mind racing, he whispered under his breath, "Who the hell is this?" Unexpectedly, he reached for his keys. "Where are you headed?" Rasheeda shouted out to him, her voice suddenly frantic. Kirk looked at the door, his expression opaque and icy, to learn the truth. Then he vanished without warning. He clutched the steering wheel with white-knuckled determination as he raced into Atlanta, the streets fading before him. The voicemail, the allegations, the videos, all of it was replayed in his memory. His answers were needed, and he needed them now. Where was he heading? Mendeecees. He soon found himself in a familiar location, Mendeecees' favorite lounge, where he was known to unwind when tensions rose. After pulling up, Kirk got out and hurried inside without thinking, and sure enough, he was there. Sitting in a secluded booth, Mendeecees was drinking a drink and browsing through his phone. He glanced up in time to see Kirk coming, his forehead furrowed in perplexity. Kirk didn't hesitate to ask Kirk, "What's up, man?" With burning eyes, he banged his hands on the table. Mendeecees, "Stop the nonsense. I want to know immediately what the devil is going on between you and Rasheeda." Mendeecees sat back, unconcerned. "I'm sorry." With a menacing growl, Kirk said, "You heard me. After a video leak, I'm now being contacted by an unknown individual who claims that I must get a damn DNA test. Man, you had better start talking before I go crazy." Mendeecees' face clouded. He let out a deep sigh and put down his cup. "Look, man, I don't know who's feeding you all this mess, but I swear, I ain't got nothing going on with Rasheeda." Kirk was not buying it. Afterward, described the videos. Mendeecees scratched his temples, clearly frustrated, and said, "Explain why people in the industry have been saying that you guys have been too friendly." Hey, Kirk, pay attention to yourself. Would I really jeopardize everything, my marriage, my reputation, for what? A rumor, to go behind your back like that? Kirk's fists were clenched, and he was panting. "I can't deny what I've been seeing and hearing, even though I want to trust you, guy." Mendeecees gave a quick exhale. Then maybe you should ask yourself why somebody is trying so hard to push this narrative. Kirk grimaced. "What are you saying?" Mendeecees lowered his voice and leaned forward. "Someone is trying to separate you and Rasheeda, and they're doing a pretty good job of it." Kirk's head whirled. Is this a setup, really? Who, if anyone, would take such measures? Then, practically at the same moment, his phone displayed another message. It turned out to be a screenshot. Breathing became difficult for him. Yandy Smith and an unidentified sender exchanged text messages. Anonymous. The videos are now available. Yandy, good. Make sure he continues to question everything. Kirk is losing it. Kirk's blood became icy. His hands trembled as he gripped the phone tighter. Yandy, he murmured as insight dawned on him. She's responsible for this? Mendeecees snatched up the phone and skimmed the message. Immediately, his face darkened. No way. Kirk's world whirled about. All around him, things were collapsing. Yandy, the videos, the communications. The gossip. What's the worst part? The possibility that her own friend was behind the scenes was unknown to Rasheeda. Kirk went to Mendeecees and spoke in a low, menacing voice, his heart thumping in his ears. I must now confront her. With an inscrutable face, Mendeecees got to his feet. I'm coming with you. The two guys then raced out, prepared to confront the one person they both knew would betray them. But what were they unaware of? Yandy was determined to fight until the end. What's the truth? It was more worse than they thought. Blood boiling, minds racing, Kirk and Mendeecees dashed out of the lounge. When Kirk realized that Yandy might be responsible for everything, he went into a spiral. He sped towards Yandy's apartment, scarcely registering the sound of the car engine roaring to life. As he pondered the betrayal, Mendeecees sat next to him the entire time, anxious but silent, his fists clenched. Although the drive was a blur, Kirk's thoughts were very clear. If Yandy was the brains behind this mess, if she was the one spreading the rumors, releasing the video, and making him distrust Rasheeda, then she needed to answer for her actions. Kirk was already out of the car and strode towards the front door of Yandy's house with fire in his eyes as they drove up in front of it. He never even knocked. Without any patience, he banged on the door. Yandy, open the damn door. There was a very short pause before the door creaked open. With a confused and irritated look on her face, Yandy stood there. Kirk wasted little time in saying, Kirk, what the heck is wrong with you? The leaked messages appeared on his phone as he thrust it in her face. You informed me, Yandy. You have been manipulating my life and marriage. Why? Yandy gazed at the TV, her eyes fluttering. It was a moment before her face could be read. Then she crossed her arms and gave a brief, sardonic laugh. Mendeecees came forward, his voice low and menacing. So you finally figured it out. How in the hell have you done this, Yandy? Yandy shook her head and breathed. Kirk tensely said, You two act like I was wrong for what I did. You spread those rumors about Rasheeda and Mendeecees, published that damn video, and now you're speaking to me and pushing me to get a damn DNA test for my own kid. What the devil is justified about any of that? Yandy rolled her eyes and sneered. I simply gave you a little prod, Kirk. Don't act like you haven't been questioning Rasheeda for months. Kirk's jaw tightened and his knuckles trembled. A little shove? The tension was sliced like a razor by Mendeecees' words. You damn near destroyed my marriage. Why, Yandy? Yandy groaned, glancing between them. Just tell me why. Finally, she said something. There was silence. Because Rasheeda had it coming. Kirk's stomach fell. The eyes of Mendeecees grew gloomy. Yandy's voice remained firm, as if she had practiced this moment 1,000 times. You believe she's completely innocent. Do you really believe she hasn't been playing her own little games? Someone had to expose her, so I just did what had to be done. Kirk had the impression that the floor had been torn out from under him. Let her see. Yandy cocked her head. What the devil are you talking about? Kirk, I've known things for a long time and I've seen things. Rasheeda is not the lady you believe her to be. You don't even know the half of what she's been up to. Mendeecees scowled and moved in closer. You think that video leak was bad? Yandy interrupted him and said, Yandy, you better not be lying right now, because if you err, I am telling the truth. Kirk was slapped with the words, and if you don't believe me, maybe you should check Rasheeda's phone. Look at Rasheeda's phone. Was Yandy lying? Or had there been something he had missed? Kirk's thinking briefly wavered with uncertainty. That same doubt that had been building since the beginning of the rumors, ever since the video, since the charges were made. Could Rasheeda have been concealing something? Mendeecees saw the hesitancy in Kirk's gaze. Man, he said, don't let her mess with your head. She is deceiving you. Yandy chuckled. Kirk's breathing became labored. Am I? Or am I just showing Kirk the truth he doesn't want to see? Kirk asked. His hands at his sides shook. He was at a loss for thoughts. Without saying another word, he turned and raced out. Mendeecees followed, head shaking. "Don't do this, Kirk. You know Yandy has her own plans." Kirk remained silent. He had already decided on something. He had to see for himself whether Yandy was telling the truth, if there was any hope at all. And that was only possible in one way. Rasheeda was sitting on the couch, browsing through her phone when Kirk arrived home. When he entered, she looked up and realized right away that something was off. "Kirk, what happened?" Kirk remained silent. All he did was extend his hand. With a worried brow, Rasheeda said, "Give me your phone." "Don't you mind?" "Give me your phone, Rasheeda," Kirk said again, his tone icy. At this moment, Rasheeda's eyes widened in shock. Nodding, Kirk asked, "Are you serious right now?" "Dead serious." There was a tight hush between them. Rasheeda clenched her hand over her phone. She briefly gave the impression that she was going to dispute, but then she sighed and gave it to him. When Kirk unlocked it and began to scroll, his heart was racing. Communications, emails, images. He went over all of it, looking for anything that would show Yandy was lying. His fingers then came to a standstill, a passage of text, alongside Mendeecees. Breathing became difficult for him. He trembled his hands. Although there was nothing overtly indicating an affair in the letters, there was an indisputable intimacy and closeness in their speech patterns. Late-night communications, jokes about the inside, talks that seemed too intimate. Kirk felt nauseous. Was it evidence? Did Yandy get it right? With an unreadable expression, he glanced up at Rasheeda. "Explain this." Rasheeda let out a short sigh as soon as her gaze shifted to the screen. "Kirk, that isn't what you believe." Kirk tightened his jaw. "Rasheeda, then tell me what it is." "That's because I vow to God that if you lie to me now," Rasheeda got to her feet, her voice stern, "I owe you no justification for our relationship." "Comradeship?" Kirk laughed resentfully. "So, are you all just friends? The fact that pals are messaging at 3 in the morning is funny." Rasheeda's expression grew stern. "You might not be worthy of my company if you truly believe that I would betray you in that way." Kirk was stabbed by the words. The room was quiet. It was Mendeecees' fault. To tear them apart was exactly what someone intended. Was it Yandy, though? Or was Rasheeda actually playing him from the beginning? Kirk was at a loss for what to believe. And as he stood there looking at his wife, it became brutally obvious that this was far from over. Definitely not. Suddenly, the drama between Kirk, Rasheeda, and Mendeecees has taken a completely unexpected turn. Their marriage is in jeopardy because Yandy is causing trouble, and Kirk is now doubting everything. Could Rasheeda be concealing something? Or is this all just another devious manipulation game? We would want to know what he thinks. Do you believe Kirk has a valid reason to be suspicious, or is he just exaggerating? Furthermore, was Yandy attempting to cause turmoil, or was she simply revealing the truth? This is far from the end of the narrative, so please share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and enable post notifications if you don't want to miss the next hot update. We promise you won't want to miss what comes next.